So wonderful. So hi. So my name's Karen Stahlberg, and I am an OBGYN in Michigan Medicine, and also the director of the HILS Online degree program, Master of Science degree program here at Michigan. I have a master's in higher education and have some courses on other online platforms, which is how I got to this place in space, because people are sort of like, how did you get to the Department of Learning Health Sciences? And then let me introduce my colleague, Angie. I'll let you introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, hi, Julie. I'm Angie Sullivan. I am the HILS Online Program Manager and also manager for the residential program for the Masters.
Fantastic. And I'm just going to say a quick hello to everybody in cyberspace who's watching this asynchronously, because we will distribute this video and the contents to folks who signed up but weren't able to join us in person. So without further ado, let me share my screen so that we can talk about the degree program. Here we go. Still good, Angie?
Yes, we can see it.
Awesome, thanks. So we are here today to talk about how folks within Michigan Medicine can actually engage with the HILS Online program to think about leading, changing, and transforming health, particularly into a learning health system. So the goal of this degree program, which is actually the first of its kind in the nation, is to gain leading edge skills to improve the systems that support health and wellness and access. And so the degree program has a joint emphasis on information and social science through this lens of organizational change to improve the health of individuals and populations. What's very unique is the inclusion of implementation science in addition to informatics and analytics, and really thinking about comprehensive system solutions to improve health and health equity. The program was built to be flexible so that individuals could complete the program, of course, in 1 year if you wanted to go straight through. But in all honesty, for folks who are working professionals, it makes more sense to try to go part-time and complete the degree in 2 to even 3 years. The in-person, sort of in real-time requirements are very minimal. And so that's why we really believe that this is a degree that can work for people who are working. So just a little bit of background about where this degree came from, basically. So in the Wayback Machine, which is actually not that far back, in the last 10 years or so, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, which I'll refer to as AHRQ moving forward, put forward these competencies that are required to help individuals become researchers and leaders in learning health systems. So the whole degree is predicated on these competencies, which include a culture of continuous learning, gathering and applying evidence in real time to help guide care, using IT methods to share new evidence and to improve decision-making. One of the really important competencies and tenets is that patients are a vital member of this learning team, and that we want to somehow capture and analyze the data and care experiences to create this feedback cycle for learning and improvement. So if we think about this learning or improvement cycle, this is really sort of the work of the learning health system. And we call this the loop in our lingo, but you'll see it replicated sort of in many, many different forms and places and spaces. Really how we think about it here in the HILS program is that you have a health problem of interest that a learning community has formed around. And part of the work of understanding that problem is to understand what has been happening, the performance to data arm, taking that data and analyzing it and producing new knowledge, new evidence, and then taking that evidence and actually feeding it back into the system through implementation science to make change, perpetuate change, as well as continue to learn to create improvement cycles. So the activities of this learning cycle are also built on this infrastructure. And so we think about the infrastructure to support learning health systems, which includes healthcare data for decision-making, the policy and ethics around data. How do we share this knowledge for improvement? I've talked about implementation science as well as technology promoted change. So many folks are aware of best practice alerts or decision-making tools to help decide what to do next. All of those are sort of infrastructure components of a learning health system. So the HILS degree is actually fairly new. We've been in existence probably 7 to 8 years. Started as a PhD program, and the HILS online degree, master's degree, came online in fall of 2021. So we have 2 cohorts that are going through the system. And as you can see, there's lots of folks from lots of places and spaces. The HILS online degree program, however, is only open to United States citizens and residents because of the online component of the degree. Hoping to get someone from Hawaii, but would love to have some more folks from Maine as well. So from one end of the country to the other. Our students have educational backgrounds that are very diverse. Obviously, there's the health sciences, health profession folks. Sorry, I had a warning pop up in my screen. I don't think you saw it, but there's also information experts, computing experts, folks who think about complex organizations and policy, behavioral scientists and engineers, basically all of the folks that are in this degree program in some way, shape, or form interact with information, policy, implementation, and data. So this is our current cohort from fall of 2022, who I like to call Team 2. We've got physicians and nurses and business analysts and medical students who are doing gap years, and a medical sales representative who's actually not in this picture, thinking about a variety of things, whether that's adolescent substance use treatment, cystic fibrosis, the impact that data has, how to create healthcare access in humanitarian settings. Again, this wide application of the sciences that go into health infrastructures and learning systems. So when you complete the degree, you get a Master of Science degree program from the University of Michigan Medical School. And much like our library here, the Taubman Health Sciences Library, which was recently redone, has no books in the building. We have 27 credit hours, but actually no in-person physical classrooms or class times. But we do have you complete a learning cycle project. And like I said, you get your degree from the University of Michigan Medical School. So the goal of the degree is to help people get specialized training to make lasting improvements in healthcare systems. They're asynchronous courses, meaning that you watch them online at your own pace and time. There are synchronous time options for class projects, mentoring, question and answer sessions, that kind of thing. But all of the content is delivered through the Canvas learning management system. And so you have this opportunity to look at things, review it, go back and double check, and communicate with your classmates and faculty within the whole system. One thing that I really like to point out is that these are 3 credit courses, master's level courses that really do require about 8 to 10 hours per week per course. So if individuals are working full time, trying to take 4 courses at once would probably, that's about 80 hours of work a week. And so really considering how to balance both work activities as well as working towards the degree would be really important. And Angie and I can help talk about that as well. To get a sort of taste of like, well, what is it like to think about this content or interact with this content? We just wanted to point out that one of the faculty in our department, Vinod Vinswaran, has a MOOC, or an open online course that's free to University of Michigan affiliates, called Information Extraction from Free Text Data in Health, which gives you a sense of, what are some of the techniques that would be used to think about healthcare data, particularly that's in a free text environment. How do we do advanced machine learning, natural language processing, techniques to sort of parse out information from unstructured text documents? Sort of everything you ever wanted to know is in this open course. So this is what the HILS online degree sort of interface looks like, if you will, through Canvas. All of the courses are structured through Canvas, but the assignments will vary. So introductions to course videos are embedded into the learning management system, lecture videos, overviews of the modules, reading assignments, discussions, quizzes. It's where you upload your papers, your essays, or video assignments, that kind of thing. The grading will vary from course to course. The other thing that's unique about this program is a learning cycle project capstone that we have for folks right as they're getting ready to graduate. And what this really focuses on is your ability to apply information that you learned in class to a real world problem and solution, right? That's the whole goal. So in the fall term, we have people sort of meet with their advisors to kind of start thinking about projects. In the winter term, we talk about refining the project, getting prepared for how that will work during the summer generally. And spring summer term, students will be enrolled in LHS 622, which is an implementation science course, thinking about implementation and how to distribute new and best practices and information from those best practices in a learning cycle capstone course. So this is an example of one of the learning cycle projects that now a HILS PhD graduate, Rama Munyesi, who is also has become faculty in the department, did, looking at surgical count related incident reporting behaviors and barriers to reporting among nurses. Because obviously retained surgical instruments, RSI, is a thing that we don't want to have happen. And one of the ways that we prevent those retained surgical instruments is by doing counts before and after, when we open a new tray, when we close, that kind of thing. And so the data in those counts has to be accurate, because if it's not accurate, then that's actually where the opportunity for missing something or leaving something behind comes in. And so what Rama did was he looked and he says, well, what's the quality of our data in our reporting? And found that, boy, actually a lot of the reports didn't even include accurate counts or reports that were concerning. And so he looked into this community and said, okay, what are the barriers to reporting, and identified a number of opportunities. And then that's where he did the rest of his work for his PhD program. So these learning cycle projects are really about practical application of the core work and content that you learn. And so the goal is that when you get your master's, you get this foundation in science and techniques and ideas, and then you're able to transform that into real world situations. So the AHRQ Learning Health Systems researcher competencies, like I mentioned before, really ground us in this degree program. So there's 8 current competencies. There were 7 originally. We actually had already had one of the 8th ones, but they're listed here for you. So leadership, ethics, healthcare equity and justice, improvement and implementation science, informatics, research methods, standards of scientific evidence, and system science. So all of the courses, all of the curriculum focuses on that. So Dr. Gretchen Pyatt, who is the grad chair of the HILS degree program, made this image, which I like to call, we actually affectionately refer to as the Hydra, which maps all of the courses that are in the degree program to that learning cycle. So around a health problem of interest that a learning community has formed around, we think about the performance to data piece. How are we collecting that data? How does ethics and policy go into that, right? If you're not counted in the data, then how does that help you moving forward? Whose data is it? Who owns it? That kind of thing. We teach you how to understand the data and convert it to actionable knowledge through research and evaluation methods, data science, and informatics. And then once you have that evidence, if you will, of best practices, how do you take that into the system and create infrastructures and representations and ways to affect change? So that's the whole goal of this HILS degree program. So if you break it down a little further, and that's actually a picture of Gretchen there in the center Rama's to her right, and actually almost everyone in that picture has graduated from the program, most with PhDs, some with master's degrees. But anyway, so health infrastructures and policy courses, we have implementation science courses, we have data science courses, as well as research methods. This image is of Dr. Chuck Friedman, who is the chair of the department and one of the original folks who thought about learning health systems and worked with AHRQ to create these definitions around what are learning health systems. He's a scientist and informatician, and really this HILS degree program came out of his taking over as chair at the Department of Learning Health Sciences. So this would be a one-year plan. And like I said, this is 4 courses every semester. So here at the University of Michigan, remember that we have a semester system. So fall runs from August to basically mid-December. Winter is going to go from the beginning of January to sort of mid-April. And then spring summer is really condensed into one gig from mid-April to early August. And so that would be one layout that you could do. On campus time, we do have you come to campus for these institutes once in the fall, once in winter, and then once again, spring, summer. Those will be just 3 institutes across the entire degree program. You don't have to keep coming to Ann Arbor. Although here, obviously, we're talking to folks who are at Michigan Medicine, so that come to Ann Arbor thing is not such an onus. But anyway, we do want to keep in mind that, you know, the learners that we have come from all over the country. And so being here in person can be a lot. So another way to look at this degree program is to spread it out. And so to do 2 classes at a time, or 6 credits, which would spread, you know, sort of move things out about to 18 months to 2 years. But again, we can be very flexible, and there's lots of individuals in the program who are healthcare providers who have spaced this out a little bit as well. So here is an example of one of our recent graduates who actually completed her PharmD and then came and got a HILS master's degree because she's very interested in pharmacogenomics and how to incorporate genetic knowledge and the sort of selection of pharmaceutical agents. So again, it's this sort of brave new world around this space, and everybody is finding their way and unique opportunities in it. This is a picture of our on-campus institute. The institutes are required, and again, they are meant to reinforce current coursework. For the institutes, we come to campus 2 to 3 times in the degree program, and it's usually a 2 to 3 day session. We have active learning sessions, we do skill development, we have the opportunity for one-on-one mentoring, and the most important part, we think, is the socialization and getting the HILS community together to really have discussions and just think about questions in learning health systems. So the goal for this degree program is really to lead, change, and transform health, and move leaders into these quality and safety positions that can manage informatics and healthcare data analysis and really create improvement and implementation leaders. So here at Michigan Medicine and the university writ large, we actually have lots of components of a learning health system. And I think part of it is that people don't realize that that's what they're doing, right? So over at the VA, we've got the query system. We have the Michigan Integrated Center for Health Analytics and Medical Prediction. We have eHealth and artificial intelligence. Recently opened is our M2C2 office, where they think about capacity operations and real-time engagement. Folks work on clinical informatics. There's a whole health system data warehouse that we can think about. And then this whole notion of improvement and quality and improving process actually fits into Dr. Miller's base strategy under safety and quality. We also have this really amazing technology called Immerse that can look at electronic health records and look at free text and really learn about natural language processing and extracting data. So believe it or not, all of these systems and components have someone from Michigan Medicine involved, and also have someone from the Department of Learning Health Sciences involved. So the folks that you're learning from are actually doing this work. And that's why we think it's so important to have Michigan Medicine folks come and learn about what we're doing in HILS, so that people can get the skills and develop the techniques to apply this in our own environments, so that all of Michigan Medicine can at some point become a true learning health system. So the goal, like I said, is leaders create innovators, quality improvement experts, folks who have informatics backgrounds and want to become developers and analysts. Really, the sort of field is wide open. And so some of our graduates have gone on to become data architects. Some of them actually went on to open their own business and become entrepreneurs. We have clinical research coordinators, data analysts. One of the things is we actually do kind of suck people in a little bit. So like I said, Rama's staying as faculty, and some of our master's students actually stayed as PhD candidates. So that is fair warning. I want to stop my portion and switch over to Angie. We've got a few more slides, and then we're going to open things up to questions. So Angie?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Selberg. So I'm going to cover a few of the student services side of things. So to begin with, advising. Students are paired with a faculty advisor who will have live office hours, typically via Zoom, or you can contact them via email or Zoom. And I did want to note that you're going to be taught and mentored by the same faculty who teach in the residential program. So for example, pictured here is Dr. Rachel Richardson at our HILS online orientation session last year. And she is a professor in our department, and she conducts research on the quality and usability of data from electronic health records. And here she's advising a HILS online learner who has an interest in learning health systems to improve patient outcomes. And you'll also have easy access to me as a program manager through email, through individual Zoom meetings or Slack or the HILS online community page. So there are a variety of ways to get in touch with myself and Dr. Stahlberg. And the one thing that I did want to point out is that even though this is an online program, you'll be supported by real people such as myself, Dr. Stahlberg, and other faculty, as we truly want to give you the full learning experience as a Michigan student. Being a student in our online program, you'll have access to an abundant variety of student support services, such as the Rackham Graduate School, which has student communities such as students with children, students with disabilities, LGBTQ+ students, health and well-being resources. In the medical school, there is the Office of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies, and this overlaps somewhat with what Rackham offers for resources such as health and wellness, diversity, equity, inclusion resources. And you will also have access to other university resources such as counseling and psychological services, Taubman Health Sciences Library, in addition to all other libraries on campus. And listed here are just a few of those resources. So tuition information is based on the 2022-2023 academic year. Please note that tuition and fees often change each year. So again, these are based on this year. So typically a student is going to take between 6 to 12 credits, 6 credits being part-time, 9 credits or more is considered full-time. So for example, here, if you're a part-time Michigan resident, tuition is $8,567. And if you're a non-resident taking 6 credits, which is part-time, it's $17,333. For full-time, 9 credits or more, tuition is $12,758 for Michigan residents. It's $25,907 for a non-resident. And there are also mandatory fees assessed each term, as you'll see here, registration fee, central government fee, et cetera, for a total of around $166. And we wanted to break it down for you even further. So if you were to complete the program in 1 year, this is what it would look like. So as a Michigan resident, that first fall semester is $12,758. Second semester, winter, is $12,758. And then there is a spring summer term for $4,376, giving you an estimated total of $29,892. And then as a non-Michigan resident, that fall semester is $25,907. Winter term is $25,907. And then that spring summer term is $8,759, giving you an estimated total of $60,573. So again, this is based on 2022-2023 data and is subject to change. And then next, I want to talk to you about the tuition scholarship we offer. So the Department of Learning Health Sciences will offer, as you can see listed here, 33% tuition scholarship to Michigan medicine faculty and staff. You must hold a 50% or greater FTE appointment. You must be accepted and enrolled in the program, either part-time or full-time. No separate application is required, as funds will be applied directly to your tuition bill, and you must maintain a minimum Rackham cumulative GPA of B, which is a 3.0. And we've had questions about departmental tuition reimbursement, and this is often an option from departments. However, you will need to reach out to your HR department to inquire how it works within your department. So listed here is the U of M Standard Practice Guide, which provides more details. And I'll be sending this presentation after the session, so you can access the link from there. And you can also do a search on U of M's website and find it that way if you want it right away. And then some additional expenses, needs that you'll want to consider: study materials such as books, notebooks, things along those lines. And I did want to note that many of our textbooks are available for free online or via the Michigan Library, which I mentioned earlier. You'll need a high-speed internet, computer and equipment and software. What's recommended university-wide is a webcam, a RAM of 4 gigabytes, a microphone, headphones, compatible browser. And then additional expenses will be for travel expenses, like Dr. Sahlberg mentioned. Students will be required to attend the in-person institute sessions 3 times throughout their time in the program. So if you live and work in Michigan, this likely won't be much of an issue for you. And then the application requirements. So we require a bachelor's degree with 1 statistics class, personal and academic statement of purpose, and I'll go into more detail on this in a few minutes, a resume or CV, transcripts, and then 3 letters of recommendation. So for these letters, you'll want to choose people who know you well and those that can provide an evaluation of your ability to perform and succeed at the graduate level. Often that might include a manager, a supervisor from school or work. If possible, include at least 1 letter from a past or current professor or advisor, or someone who has supervised you in a job or internship. And I did want to note that the GRE is no longer required for admission. Now, I'll review some application tips for your statement, starting with your academic statement. So this is where you will want to discuss your primary research area of interest. You'll want to reach out to potential advisors, 2 to 3 HILS faculty, to introduce yourself and discuss the potential fit for our program. So faculty are aware that interested applicants reach out to them, so don't feel strange sending them a cold email introducing yourself. And you'll want to do this before completing your academic statement of purpose. And you can read about each of our faculty on our website and choose those that perhaps are doing research or teach in an area of interest to you. In the statement, you'll want to explain why you identified the potential advisors you did and interactions you had with them. In addition, you'll want to describe your understanding of learning health systems and what interests you about them. If applicable, describe any prior research experiences, courses, or projects that have prepared you for graduate study. And all of this is covered on the actual application, so you don't need to remember it right now. Then for your personal statement, this is different than your academic statement, and this is where you'll get the opportunity to explain how your background and life experiences, other opportunities or challenges motivated your decision to pursue a graduate degree at the University of Michigan. And I wanted to note that if you're a current Rackham student, you completed the personal statement when you applied to Rackham, so you will not be required to write another statement. So then for non-Rackham students, you'll want your personal statement to be more of a discussion of your journey that has led you to your decision to seek a graduate degree. You want to make sure that you do not repeat your academic statement of purpose here. And then we have some resources on learning health systems that can help you with your applications that I'll send you in an email after this session, in addition to the other information that we discussed today. So to begin with, we have a couple of journal articles. The first one, Development of a Learning Health System Research Core Competencies, which discusses how the core competencies for learning health systems were developed. Next is a journal article written by the chair of the department, Dr. Chuck Friedman, and Josh Rubin, who is the program officer in our department, weaving together a healthcare improvement tapestry. Learning health system brings together health IT data and stakeholders to share knowledge and improve health. And so be sure to check that one out. In addition, there's a website link to the Learning Health Systems Open Access Journal. And this is an open access journal that's freely available to read and download. And last is the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality Learning Health Systems website. And this is an agency that funds LHS researchers. And you can go here to learn about the different types of research that is being funded by the agency. So again, I'll send you these resources. So some application tips real quick. Please be sure to proofread your statement carefully. Ask a friend, a colleague, mentor to also review it, paying special attention to typographical errors, grammar, punctuation, and overall clarity. And submit all materials in a timely manner to prevent the delay in reviewing your application. So how to apply? Since we are a Rackham graduate program, you will apply through the Rackham Graduate School website. You will complete their online application found on their website. Our website links directly to the application as well. On the site, you can upload all materials in addition to sending them directly to us if needed at any point. We have two deadlines. First is February 1st. Applicants who apply for this deadline are eligible for priority scholarships. The scholarships are merit-based and candidates are reviewed holistically by the admissions committee. So you'll want to get those applications in early. And this is for our other applicants and not the Michigan Medicine students who are applying. And then June 1 then is a final deadline to apply. And there are fees to apply, $10 if you're a Rackham student, $75 for non-Rackham applicants. And we do have fee waivers available. So reach out to me if you're interested in obtaining a fee waiver for that fee. And the application timeline, we aim to notify applicants 6 to 8 weeks after the receipt of the application. So again, get those applications in early. And as far as transfer credit, at this time, we're not allowing credits to be transferred. However, if you have taken a course that is equivalent to a required course for the program, we may be able to review options for substitute electives or other course options. And here's our contact information along with our website. You can find a lot of information on the website. In addition, feel free to reach out to Dr. Stahlberg or myself at any time with questions. So at this time, we'd like to thank you for your attention and open it up for questions.
Wonderful. Hi, Devin. Nice to see you. Couldn't see you before. So what can we tell you? What questions do you have?
I was unable to see or to be here for part of the presentation. Will the slides be available somewhere at the end?
Yes, I will be sending out the slides as well as the recording of this presentation.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
You mentioned that the deadlines will be different for Michigan Medicine. When are those deadlines? Because tomorrow will be too soon for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's why, so the deadline tomorrow is for learners outside of Michigan Medicine to be able to qualify for those holistic scholarships, because Michigan Medicine faculty and staff and folks would already qualify for that tuition reimbursement support. Your deadline would be June 1. So, and the start date then would be end of August, 2023. So we do cohort everyone as you start, And also it's important to know that the courses are generally only offered like fall or winter term. So that's why you can't sort of binge watch the whole degree because there's actually people who are working and taking care of you in your courses. So the faculty are actively engaged in the discussion forums and in grading and that kind of thing. So I think we would have faculty mutiny if we just ran it 24/7, 365. Other questions or thoughts? Go
I
ahead,
don't
Dave.
have a lot of questions because I don't want to ask something that I missed, so I'll review the slides first.
Oh, no, that's okay. So I guess, one thing that I am interested in and hoping that you can indulge is to sort of say, well, gosh, what about this degree program interested you, or where are you in Michigan medicine where you could see these types of skills being valuable?
Sure. So from my perspective, you mentioned Rama briefly was on the call. I worked with Rama very closely. I'm the team lead for perioperative informatics. So I cover the operating room's perioperative spaces for custom applications and analytic developments. So I've had some conversations with Rama about the program, but also just a general interest in kind of both quality improvement, but quality improvement over the long term. And sustainment of those initiatives. So that's kind of my background at the institution.
Fantastic. Yeah. Julie, I'll have you answer that question, then we'll talk to Catherine in just a second.
So as you might be able to tell from my background, I am from Mott. I am a nursing supervisor in the cardiothoracic ICU. I was there for 11 years, first as the bedside, and moved into the supervisor role about 6 years ago. And Corey Zigman is our very wonderful associate chief nursing officer, and I had the opportunity to work with her very closely over the spring and summer. And she nudged me to do something a little bit more, so she sent this to me.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Kathy, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. So we have a real live HILS student on board with us. Kathy, I'll turn it over to you, my friend.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kathy Enox. I'm the CF program coordinator at Mott. So actually work at Michigan Medicine. And I was in a meeting for work, so apologies for hopping on just at the end for Q&A, but I wanted to make sure to jump in here. I have attended the HILS program. I'm in my second semester. I'm actually taking the super slow route of one class a semester. And I keep considering going to 2, but given my stage of life, this is where I'm at the moment, and that's okay. I work 3 to 4 days a week and have 2 toddlers at home that I watch on the days I'm not working, of course. And I am absolutely loving this program. In cystic fibrosis, I have a huge kind of effort towards quality improvement. And I'm a part of the Cystic Fibrosis Learning Network, which is a national program through the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. And so in searching for higher education, I didn't want to do anything in nursing because it all focused on these inpatient, you're either a nurse practitioner or, and that's not where I wanted to go. And then I found this program and it really fits into what I wanted to do with QI and with, the CF Learning Network. And since joining the program, it's really ignited a fire under me for going beyond that. Because there is so much focus on, yes, application of these things in your current work, but also how do we change healthcare? And so it's really inspiring. And I'm super excited to be, in the second cohort for this program. And I guess that's a little bit about me. So wondering if you guys have any questions.
How many different faculty members have you, or do you have repeat faculty members, or are they kind of all individuals within their own specialty area?
I believe they're all individuals, but Karen and Angie would know best. So far, I've only had individuals. and they are definitely experts in their field.
Yeah, that's a great question, Devin. So we're a relatively small department comparatively, and we're a pretty new specialty, if you will. And so the faculty have expertise in informatics or data ethics or quality or implementation science. And so those small cohorts of faculty are the ones who teach those courses. That being said, the whole HILS program, like I just think of the Department of Learning Health Sciences faculty as one big faculty that do different things, right? So almost as if we have divisions, but not really, right? So like in OB-GYN, I'm a generalist, but we also have pelvic floor and reconstruction therapy, experts and gyn-onc experts and what have you. So so it's an excellent question, but the truth of the matter is that like you have the content experts teaching the content pretty much.
Sure.
And you see the faculty sort of over and over because we have, Kathy can speak to this, we do seminars once a week that get distributed asynchronously as well, like the recordings. We have institutes where the faculty come to talk with the HILS Online students. I don't know, Kathy, what do you think about that interaction with the faculty?
Yeah, I do actually feel like I know a lot of them, at least who they are and what kind of their area of specialty might be within the department. Just from those sort of things. There's also, I'm local. I don't know if you're both local, but there are some events that I've been able to come attend, a poster, event. And so I got to sit with some of the faculty and talk and then, converse throughout the poster presentations. And it just provided some connection there. But I think we also have some students, like we have one in Alaska, and she attends a lot of the online collaboratory or collaborative meetings, and if not, I know she's watching them. And she also, I think, would echo that we feel like we know the instructors. And then the other nice thing that I've really enjoyed about both of the classes that I've had thus far is the faculty are really responsive to the students and the needs of the students, and recognizing that this program, the online one is fairly new and really adjusting things to better fit us. And so there's never a, hey, this isn't working for me, and a professor's like, well, too bad. There's always a, okay, well, here's how I can help you. Here's some resources for you. Or, potentially just completely changing how the course is going, depending on who you've got and what's going on. So it's really been a positive sort of feedback there for student to professor. And I think asynchronously as well, there's, I do my work because I've got toddlers and whatnot, but in the evening hours from like 9 p.m. to midnight, and I'll still get messages back from, from professors, or, still be able to communicate even with the students. We have our own, kind of connection with each other, and it's a really nice community.
Yeah, and I slightly get, chest pains or dyspepsia from the fact that they're all on Discord together, because I just don't like the name of the program. But I think it's really, really important for students to have student support that is separate from Angie or the faculty. And the fact that they're able to really, connect and communicate and support one another is one of the goals of the program. Because now you've got this network of individuals as you move forward with expertise. And that's the other bonus that we see from getting Michigan medicine folks into the program and really amping up the workforce, is now you're going to have a cohort of people who speak this language and know what you're talking about and can really affect change. So that's the goal. Julie, I saw you unmute if you wanted to ask a question.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to ask the question. It sounds like your background is similar to mine. And the like my desire to consider something like this would be process improvement. That's where my passion lies, within problems within our system and how can we impact change and make them better. Do you feel like this program has been a good fit in that respect for you?
Yes, I do think so. I mean, so far I've had an infrastructures course, which opened my eyes to exactly what's been going on and what's to come in the future, and how to approach infrastructure, which brings that big picture for you when you're looking at the little. How do you take that big picture and bring it down to your staff and say, how, this is why things happen the way they happen. Here's what we can do to make slow movements towards that. And then even the data course that I'm in right now is super exciting for me because it's you know it's attainable for me. There are some statistics, research statistics that are beyond me, but that's when I go to see Scar for some help from a statistician. But I can see applicable, ways that I can apply this directly to the work that I'm doing in QI, and potentially expanding that to research. And I've just, we're just a few weeks into this course and I'm already like so excited for what I'm learning. And implementation science is coming up soon as well as QI. So I'm like oddly super nerded out about how what courses I get to take next. And just to add on to the student to student conversation, is there is a lot of conversation about what courses would you pair best together? Like, here's my plan. What do you guys think? Just for people who've gone through a course, and some feedback of saying like, what, this one is real heavy reading. This one is also heavy reading. Maybe don't do those two together, and trying to figure out when people aren't doing the year long. If you're able to do the year long, like it's paired up how it should be. But if you're doing a slower course, there is some flexibility in figuring out which courses are better for you. And the students are great at giving feedback on what they think would be a good fit, which is a nice community for that.
That was very helpful.
Did I answer your question?
Definitely.
Okay.
Kathy, thank you. Like, it's always nice to see, like, when you design something and then put it out into the universe, right? To see that actually what we thought was going to happen does happen, which is this purposeful construction of the curriculum so that people get what they need, that it's scaffolded so that it supports the content, that it's applicable to what you're doing in your like day-to-day activity. And then, the higher education geek in me is always about student support and making sure that, folks are coming, for many folks, they're coming back into a higher ed environment and working and have all sorts of life things, right? And it's hard work to be a student again. And so making sure that we scaffold that and help and support that. Like, the goal is not to bring people into the program just to take everybody's money. Like, the goal really is to get people with the skills and to graduate, and so that then you can affect that change that we all know needs to happen in the healthcare system. And so that's really the goal.
I guess I'll speak quickly to the preparation for school, in that I haven't done that in a long time. I do tend to use my work laptop for school because I have it at home with me and it has the VPN, and all the things that I need. And IT services has been great about giving me access to the things I need to download for school, because in the end, I'm also able to use time potentially at work for school related to the summer learning project. And so, my director's on board with, yep, you find something, that kind of fits within our division, we'll fund you if you need it. Like, there's support all throughout to kind of meld the two worlds together, at least in Michigan medicine. And then I had not had a statistics course in college way back when. So I've been at U of M for 15 years now. So it's been a long time since I've been in school. So I took statistics online this summer before I applied, and learned a lot about what it takes to focus on school online, and finding, am I going to sleep when? Are the kids going to sleep when? Where are my supports and what do I need to do? And that kind of helped inform the course that I was going to take, whether it was going to be 2 or 1 course a semester. But I do like the flexibility that as my kids grow and my life changes through the course of this, I can always, adjust that you're not stuck.
Yeah, excellent point. And we do, make recommendations for statistics sort of touch-up courses that are free and online. I think I'm going to look as well to see about like informatics or computer programming options for folks who have never done that, just in case. Although, Devin, if you come into team 3, you might become the like class expert for everyone. But again, it's all about making sure that people have the support that they need to make it through the program. And, you know, all of the clinical chairs and basic science chairs here at Michigan Medicine are totally aware of the HILS degree and the department, because all of the chairs meet together. I mean, Dr. Friedman, you know, meets with them all the time. So it's not this unknown entity. And the, you know, like Devin, right? You know, Rama, who was getting his PhD and working in the ORs at the same time. And a lot of the folks are working on predictive modeling within the health system to, you know, figure out access issues or how many beds we might need, or, you know, helping with operations, really, right? And that's why I put that slide up, is because to show that like people who are teaching are also doing this real world research, and it's applicable in our environments. So I think this is going to sound weird, and I want to be mindful of the time, but like when I went back and got a master's in higher education, I had already been teaching, like I was doing the work, right? But I didn't know why. I didn't know like the theories. I didn't know different ways to construct curriculum or the better ways to teach or what have you. And so by going over to the School of Education and kind of stealing their playbook, if you will, then I had like this broad base of understanding to apply to specific situations or contexts or what have you. And that's sort of how I view this degree as well, which is that it's this basic science degree. It's a master's of science degree, so that you get this broad foundation that then you can apply to a variety of places and spaces. So that's like my vision of things. And so Kathy, I'm really grateful to hear that that's how it feels for you in real life. So yeah, cool. Well, we are quick on time. Like Angie said, she's going to distribute the video and the content of the slides and some resources additionally. It goes without saying, but if you have any questions, you know, please reach out directly to me or to Angie. Kathy, I'm not going to volunteer you, but yeah, but you know, again, just because you're embedded in the environment, like it makes sense, right? You know, it's hard to get everything in for tomorrow, but so just know that that next deadline is June 1. You have lots of time to make it. Tell your friends, send other folks. Happy to, you know, have any kind of these meetings with anybody else in the environment who's like, hey, you know, I heard about this thing. What's the deal? So just reach out to us. Angie, did you have any other thoughts that you wanted to?
Yeah, just real quick. We did send this message out to our clinic directors and QI those in leadership. So we're curious of how you guys heard about the program. Did it come through your department chair or someone in a leadership role?
In my case, I've just had a slight interest since I met Rama 3 or 4 years ago, and have been looking about every year slowly.
And for me, it was Tori Zigman with the not she forwarded along the invite and the information to me, so that is how I gentle nudge that I should maybe consider doing this.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Kathy, for jumping on the call with us. We truly appreciate, you know, having that HILS perspective. So yeah, and thank you everyone for coming. And I will get this information out shortly.
Thank you. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.